Hello, yo, welcome to the channel. It's Rad from Radko Tarot. And in this whole video, we're going to look into Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, and as well Aquarius Rising. Weekly General Tarot reading March 15th up until March 21st, 2021. And if you are interested in a personal reading with me, or if you do want to take my tarot classes, you can check out the description down below. And there you're going to find a link to my website where you can view and purchase either or both of these services. So with that being set aside, moving to the Aquarius reading straight away. And the first card we have for you guys, that is going to be the Sun card. Moving next is going to be the Ten of Cups, followed by the Lovers. Afterwards, what we do have, that is going to be the Ace of Wands. And the last one for you that we do have, that will be, this is the Knight of Wands. So these 5 cards, let me check if you can see them. Yeah. So these 5 cards. And as you can see, you don't have to be a brainiac in the world of tarot to know that you're gonna have one of the best weeks out there of all 12. And right at the start of the week itself here, as we do start with the Sun card, that pretty much speaks that your endeavors in regards to everything you do in terms of career, in terms of relationship, you know, everything you do is going to pretty much grow. And that is because whenever the Sun is in play, that thing has an expanding energies of growth and also of natural development. So you can expect that your dating is going to transform, naturally develop into something more. Your work naturally is going to develop into something more. Your friendships as well naturally are going to develop into something more. And the Sun also brings the different traits everywhere you go. Well, I should not express myself that way. But my point here of the Sun card, it is that it brings happiness everywhere you go. But the happiness of the Sun is very different from any other card's happiness that gives you. As for example, Ten of Cups that we're going to see after that. It is because the Sun happiness is tied to everybody that you are dealing with. And it's, how can I say, it's connected with how much we can contribute for someone else's happiness. So they become happy and we become happy of the fact that they are happy as well, and vice versa also. So my point here is that your family is going to contribute for your happiness, as you are going to contribute for their happiness as well. Your friends are going to contribute for your happiness, as you are going to contribute for their happiness as well. Your colleagues as well are going to contribute for your happiness just as much as you're going to contribute for their happiness. And in such a state of happiness, it is because you have to take it that way. Aquarius, this week you are going to be that gentle soul that floats the golden sky, drops a happiness everywhere it goes. And because that is going to be a fact, whichever you had kind of like an ill interactions with, you know, the kind of like wrangles, fights as well, you're on a sharp edge with somebody, you can expect that at the start of this week that is going to abate. And instead of constantly, for example, fighting with this colleague or with that friend, you know, or even with your partner in life, those arguments are going to abruptly stop. And instead of, like I said, constantly fighting, you are going to be in a very, very good terms with them. Or we can say safely here with the Sun card that the hatchets are going to be buried down. And lastly, what we can say about the card, just in a general term, is that you are going to be supplemented with very big a vital energy. You are not going to feel fatigue, and also your enthusiasm is going to be quite high. And at that stage here, as we do approach the Ten of Cups, it is when you do realize, you know, how much you do have. When the one that is marked by the card realizes how much they have and starts counting one's blessing. And at that stage, it's highly likely that you are going to feel that, how can I say, that you are in a safe haven. in a place of solace. Your work is a solace, your relationship is a state of solace, you know, your your friendships as well. Ten of Cups, it is the card where, you know, no matter how little or how much you have, is just enough. Okay, at least for that particular time. And that is kind of understandable. When we look at the Sun card, it is because whenever you try to acquire more, you always jeopardize something you have, and at that stage you're going to be pretty happy of what you have, therefore you will not want to jeopardize it. And that's why with the Ten of Cups, it's quite unlikely, Aquarius, that you are going to strive for power, that you're going to strive for money, that you're going to strive for something more. Simply it is because you're going to be happy with what you have. Now, as a Ten of Cups, you can encounter it. You can encounter it in a box or in other tarot readings as well as a big love. That's true, it can be, but the Ten of Cups is only connected on emotional level, meaning that if you do love something, you love it, it is because it makes you happy. That's all that there is to it. Not because it's rich, not because it gives you opportunity, not because it's handsome, you know, but because simply it makes you happy. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel protected. And at that stage, however, while it is a good thing for you to count your blessings, okay, and to find how happy you are, how happy you can be as well, it will be also a good thing to start thinking about how you can proceed further. You know, what more you can do once you are out of this state, because at some point you will have to do something more. And now it will be a best thing for you to think about what that more can be, because the Ten of Cups also have a dark side or a negative side. Every card has a positive and a negative side. And the negative side of the Ten of Cups is that side of the human nature that always wants more. And in my classes, I'm explaining it. But here, very briefly, haven't you cut yourself when you beg the universe, let's say, for one thing, and you promise never to beg the universe or God or whatever you believe in for anything more? The universe or God gives it to you, and half a year later or 1 year later you start begging for something else. That kind of a nature, very unintentional, you know, very with a lack of any premeditation whatsoever. It is just our nature kind of like steps in. And at that point we go to the Lover's card. And here it is exactly that, the decision that you will have to make, what you should do moving forward with this happiness that you're going to have, with that very calm and natural environment that the Sun card gives you. And the Lover's card refers to the decision of what you want to do and what you have to do. And you need to know that there is no right or wrong decision here with the Lover's card. It all boils down to what you are feeling in harmony with. If you're feeling in harmony to stick with your current relationship and give a little attention to your job at this week, that's totally fine. Vice versa is totally fine as well. But the bottom line is that when we say harmony, that doesn't necessarily mean happiness or wishful thinking. You can be in a harmony knowing that you are doing what you are supposed to do, what you need to do, disregarding what you want to do. There are such people. I am vice versa. I feel in harmony when I do what I want to do, and what I have to do, you know, it can wait, if it can wait. But the bottom line here is that you should not petrify yourself, okay? But instead you need to take an action here into the Lover's card. That should be halfway through the week, and decide, you know, how you are to proceed forward with this happiness that you're going to have, either love, either job, you know, either friendship, and so on and so forth. And there are going to be two paths once again. The one, it is the path you have to walk. The other is the path that you want to take. Either of them works for you. And as soon as you decide which path you are going to move forward, as soon as you decide, you know, what you are going to do with your love, with your money, with your job, all of your concerns, what could happen moving forward into the future, are going to vaporize. Because with the Lover's card, once you make your choice, whom you're going to be with, what job you're going to work, and so on and so forth, all of the problems you anticipate, all of the worries that you have, all of the concerns that are kind of like stagnated deep down, they are simply gone, because they are resolving themselves on their own accord. As the Lover's card sometimes stands for love, though, and well, now the reading branches way too much with the Lover's Ten of Cups, the Sun card, because those three cards, it could literally mean that whatever differences you had with your partner or with your person of interest, they are no longer going to be an issue in between you two. They are going to be there, but no longer an issue. And that is, needless to say, a predisposition for a very, very harmonious relationship moving forward. And right after the manifestation of the Lover's card, we do have the Ace of Wands. And remember what I said at the Ten of Cups, that at some point you have to think of how you are to proceed with the happiness you have, because you cannot stay at one place for the entirety of your life. And towards the end of the week here, we do have a very, very gaining for enterprise, an opportunity that comes your way, Aquarius. And it will be a bit scary, and I will tell you why. It is because with the opportunity of the Ace of Wands, you are not that much prepared for it. As the development of the opportunity, it does require you to learn something new, to do something new that is out of your character, and is always accompanied with a creative chaos. And at these stages, when the Ace of Wands is in play, usually what people do is that they are finding a quirks of theirs that they had no idea they have possessed. You can find the quirk that you are very romantic. You can find the quirk that you are very good into calculation. You know, whatever does this enterprise demands from you, you're gonna find out that you are very, very good at it. But at the start, like I said, is going to be very creative, a very big creative chaos around, and you are gonna scamper around to learn and to acquire, or rather like to identify and to develop, of course, the trait and the quirk that the Ace of Wands does demand. So the gaining for enterprise unfolds. That gaining for enterprise, it could be a new introduction with somebody that you may fall in love with. You know, it could be a project that comes about that you know little about how to proceed forward, but as soon as you start, it kind of like you get the hang of it. You know, it could be a person that you have been afraid of to deal with before, but when you start dealing with them, you see that the whole thing goes very easy and very, how can I say, very light. It is the interaction and so on and so forth. But one thing is certain here with the Ace of Wands, this enterprise is going to plant the spark of inspiration into you. And once that enterprise manifests for you here with the Knight of Wands, that is going to be a person stepping into your life. That is somebody that you're going to partner yourself with. Now, this could be somebody brand new or somebody that you already know. And the thing with the Knights of Wands is that they are determined to go to the very end for as long as the enterprise or the endeavor poses interest to them. And with this enterprise here of the Ace of Wands, that definitely will pose interest to them. And no matter what the difficulties are standing in between you two, because that's cooperation, it could be literally anything from romantic endeavor to a business cooperation. But no matter what difficulties are standing in front of you both or in between you both, the Knight of Wands will always try to find a way to deal with those difficulties, or to resolve those problems. They will never going to abandon the thing that poses interest to them. And for one or another reason, the enterprise, it's a big interest of them. You, Aquarius, is or are a big interest to the Knights of Wands. And they are, how can I say, at some point, or rather like in some cases, I would say, Knights of Wands, they come about as a helping hand but that is a very seldom cases, although it may happen to you. But what you need to know with the Knights of Wands is that they are very tenacious and very brilliant as well. It's kind of like they always amaze with their approach, and how they how in generally how they interact with certain stuff and how they deal with issues as well. So they're not brainstormers, but they are very, very creative. So and the whole situation in between you and them is going to be very interesting to you, and it simply is going to make you more and more passionate about the enterprise, which once again, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be a business partnership as well, and that night helps you to develop it. So that being said, Aquarius, this was your weekly general tarot reading. Very, very good week for you guys. From the start to the end, it seems that everything is gonna run very, very natural for you. You have time to enjoy your blessings, to indulge with your happiness, and once you are done with it, you do have a gaining for opportunity enterprise that you can proceed with and add to that happiness further into the future. So yeah, that being said, that was your weekly general tarot reading. Hopefully you do enjoyed it and you do liked it, and we are to see each other next time. Until then, bye.